In this our speaking part one, I'd like to ask some questions about music. What types of music do you like to listen to?
Basically, I like to listen two types of music. First one is folk music that talk about the different scenery of the rural area, as well as it narrates the struggling people and their bondage among the communities. That talks about the people of different classes, ages, and religions. And whenever I listen this kind of music, it takes me back into my childhood when I used to play with my friends, and there are so many nostalgic memories. Another type of music that I like to listen to, and that is rap music. But this kind of music I listen when I feel overexcited and I think that I need more energy and having a good time.
At what times of day do you like to listen to music?
Frankly speaking, actually, it never depends on a part of the day. Especially, I listen to music when I feel overexcited or sometimes when I feel exhausted. And as the question is concerned about a part of the day, then I would say majority of the time I like to listen to music before going to bed. And that time, if I feel that I don't need to talk to anybody and the sleeping is not working well, so I think that this is working as a sleeping pill. And before sleeping, I mean until the sleep comes, I keep listening to this kind of music or like that something.
Did you learn to play a musical instrument when you were a child?
Actually, I do not like to play musical instrument because I think this is not a cup of tea for me, and it is quite difficult for me to grab the skills. And however, I would like to mention one thing, that when I was a child, I used to see some of my friends playing musical instruments because they were much enthusiastic, and they had some tutors who used to help them. And although I like to see the melodious activities, but I never got involved with them.
Do you think all children should learn to play a musical instrument?
As far as the question is concerned about all the children, I would say no, because musical instruments like violin, keyboard, or guitar, this kind of musical instruments are highly expensive. So if I recommend all the children to play or learn them, it will be quite difficult for them to manage, because those are not affordable for all of the classes of the children. But if someone belongs to a family and the family members like grandparents, parents, or elder siblings are associated with music, they can learn musical instruments. Or if they have the opportunity to get the proper guidance from their tutors, then I would suggest them. So in a nutshell, I want to say, if somebody have the ability to buy instruments or get the teaching opportunities, then they can learn musical instruments.
And that is the end of part one. Now I am going to give you a topic. I'd like you to talk about the topic for 1 to 2 minutes. Before that, you'll have 1 minute to think what you're going to say. So here's the topic. Here's your paper and pencil. So take your time. Alright, could you start speaking now, please?
Thank you, sir, for such a topic. I would like to talk about a shop that is very close to my home, and I often go there for buying different kind of commodities. And this is Pizza Shopping Mall, which is a very easy walking distance from my home. And it is located at the center of Medutila Market, and it is in Sylhet district. And there are several benefits I get from here, and that is, this shop is not only very large in size, but it contains the different kind of products that consumers always feel comfortable to go there. And most importantly, there are some security systems in that place, and whenever I go there, I take my kit and kin and sometimes my family members. Not only always I buy for myself, sometimes I buy products for my family members, sometimes my friends, sometimes the people I love who are not my relatives as well. One particular thing I would like to talk about this shop is the product they provide. I would say that they are having much quality, and compared to other shops, although the price is a little bit expensive, but their products are up to the mark, and people of all classes go there, especially the higher middle class or the higher classes of people. And the performance or the service provided by the staff in that shop are remarkable, because all kind of assistance, for instance, if you need to choose something, and there are some categories, not only normal products of day-to-day life, you can buy medicines as well as clothes or something like that from that, and you will get all assistance from the staffs.
All right, thank you very much. And this is the end of part 2. Now in this part 3, I'd like to ask some general questions related to the topic that I have provided you. What types of local business are there in your neighborhood? Are there any restaurants, shops, or dentists, for example?
Next to my home, there are several shops, but majority of the shops are grocery shops, and people can buy the day-to-day life products like sugar, rice, oil, onion, etc. But there are some other shops as well. For example, if somebody needs to stitch his or her clothes, then there are some tailor shops, but there is no dental service. But one thing particularly I would like to mention, there is also a restaurant which is very small, but it is not open all the time, especially the working peoples who are working, day labor, they go there at the evening time and they can have snacks or tea.
Do you think local businesses are important for a neighborhood?
Definitely, local businesses are very crucial for the people living around, especially in, they can buy their products easily, because it might be very easygoing distances, and they do not need to cross a long distance, and it will save their time as well as money. And sometimes when the time of urgencies come, especially at the night time, if somebody needs something such as medicine, he or she cannot or may not be able to go a far distance, that time this kind of shops can be assistive for those people.
How do large shopping malls and commercial centers affect small local businesses, and why do you think that is?
Sir, can you repeat the question, please?
How do large shopping malls and commercial centers affect small local businesses, and why do you think that is?
As we are living in the world of urbanization, most of the people are just focusing on brand shops. As I talked earlier about the Pizza, which is one of the most and well-known mega shops in the country, when the larger shops or malls are spreading in alarming rate, the smaller shops are falling down, because people are just always getting news or advertisements about those kind of products from the brand shops. And by this way, some of the small businesses who are run by the people of middle class people or the small businessmen, they're not getting the desired profits they are wishing to. And by this way, I think, as far as I can see from my area, that the small businessmen are always getting low profit because of this.
Why do some people want to start their own business?
Actually, as we can see nowadays, people have two minds. Some people like to do business, and some people like to have a job, especially government job. But in government job or private job, there are some things that they need to face, and those are over pressure and not flexible working hours. Sometimes they need to do something more than they are appointed for. So for that reason, some people including I like to do some business, because in a business somebody can get a chance to make profit more than they wish to, and they have some flexibility in their business. And in business we can, or not only we, actually anybody can start business and use his or her own skills that he or she learned from their practical life.
Are there any disadvantages to running a business? If there are, then which is the most serious?
According to my knowledge, I can say that one thing that is always associated with the business, and which is a drawback, and that is risk. The market price of products always having fluctuation, and sometimes the market demand also falling down. So it is quite difficult to predict about whether a product will be surviving in upcoming days or not. This is one thing, and another thing is, natural calamities are always attacking people. Especially if I talk about the last pandemic situation, some of the businessmen who had a lower profit, and some of the people who just lost everything due to the hazardous situation. So this kind of things which are disadvantages for the businessman, especially the risk management or risky situation.
What are the most important qualities that a good businessman must needs, and why is that?
As I'm not a businessman, it will be quite difficult for me to make the proper prediction about this. But I can say that a businessman, first of all, needs to be honest. Because some people think that you need to be smarter, or you need to have a lot of skills regarding business. But I personally believe that if a person is honest, and he or she is always delivering the right thing to the customers, then the number of the consumers will be increased. There is no doubt on it. Another thing is the management. Management is most crucial. For example, if there are a lot of staffs working with the person, he or she needs to manage them and support them so that they stick to this job for longer period of time. And if the older staffs of the business sticks to this person, then it is more likely to have a more profit in the future.
Thank you very much, and this is the end of your speaking test.